Hi, my name's Brooke Smithson, and I'm going to be doing the course reflection for HSMA 3025. With this course reflection, there were 4 questions. The first question asked me to discuss one thing I learned from this course. Throughout the lectures and case studies in this course, I've learned many things regarding healthcare ethics, but what I found to be the most beneficial regarding my future career as a healthcare professional was the 4 ethical principles. They are autonomy, justice, beneficence, and non-maleficence. Previous to this course, I had heard the word autonomy but never knew what it meant. Autonomy is the ethical principle of making decisions independently for oneself. For a patient, this means they have the right to make their own decision regarding their medical care without their healthcare provider trying to influence their decision. And what this means is that the healthcare provider can educate their patient on each option they have, but the healthcare provider cannot tell the patient what they can and can't do regarding these options. And this is an important principle to remember as a healthcare professional because a patient may make a decision regarding their medical care that you do not agree with, but they have every right to make this choice for themselves. As a healthcare professional, you must support them in any decision they make, regardless of your stance on the issue at hand. Next is justice. Justice is the ethical principle of administering deserved rewards or penalties that are aligned with legal and moral standards. This means that it is important for the healthcare provider to hold their patient all to the same standard and remain fair with their treatment. So, as a healthcare provider, you cannot favor one patient over the other. All patients must be equal and treated fairly. Next is beneficence. Beneficence is the acting to help or benefit others. And lastly, there's non-maleficence. Non-maleficence is the ethical principle of refraining from actions that could harm others. These 4 ethical principles helped me a lot throughout the course during our case studies and different discussion boards. While examining each case and questions for the discussion boards, I found it helpful to refer back to these principles to really understand what possible solutions could be made regarding the situations. The second question asks, what was my takeaway from this course? And everything I've learned throughout this course, I will carry with me in my everyday life and my future career. I have found that applying my learnings to current situations I'm already experiencing has really benefited me. And my takeaway from this course is that as a healthcare professional, the one main thing you must do when regarding ethics is to always have the patient's best interest in mind. But you must also always have enough respect for them to support any decision they make regarding their medical care. Acting on beneficence is a great example of this, and again, beneficence is the ethical principle acting to help or benefit others. In healthcare, this means that the providers must do all they can to benefit the patient in each situation, and all their intentions must be to do the most good for the patient. The third question asks, how will what I learned in this class affect my work and my future profession? And I can honestly say that this course has taught me how to make more reasonable and thought out decisions and truly think about the various outcome of each choice. As a healthcare professional, it is our job to better the lives of the patient, and one is not doing this if they are not practicing the proper healthcare ethics. Through this course, I have learned how to better go through the process of decision making in this specific profession while keeping all ethical principles in consideration during this process. In my future job, before making any decisions, I will first consider if my final decision presents the ethical principles of autonomy, justice, beneficence, or non-maleficence. I plan to keep these principles central to all my decision making in order to remain ethical throughout my career and my everyday life. The fourth question asks, how will what you learned in this course shape your development as a professional? And what I have learned through this course has already helped me tremendously, not in only my everyday life, but in my work life as well. Previous to this course, I was very stubborn and hard-headed and often found it hard to remain respectful when my peers made a decision I did not necessarily agree with. But with the lessons and ethics I learned throughout this course, I developed a more understanding outlook for those around me. I learned that although I may not agree with the choice a peer is making, in their eyes it could be seen as the best option for the current situation they're in. Going into the healthcare field, I will value this newfound respect because there will be many times in this profession that I will not agree with a colleague or a patient, but this course has taught me how to remain respectful during this process. Everything I have previously talked about matters because as a healthcare professional, it is our jobs to make the patients feel safe and cared for. When you're not respectful or acting in a hateful manner, you're not doing your job as a healthcare professional. And some days may be harder than the others, but in this profession, it is so important to always keep healthcare ethics in mind in your everyday work while making decisions. That way you can really care for your patient in the best way possible and create the best outcome for them. And that is my course reflection for HSM 3025. Thank you so much.